Hello, this is AgostoAllElite Podcast. It's a wonderful Saturday morning. It is a great day for podcasting. Let's get this show started. We're gonna do recaps of Dynamite, Rampage, ROH, then some wrestling news, then some other stuff I may think about on the fly, So let's go to the show. Alright, let's start with Dynamite recap. Let's start with that. Alright, Orange Cassidy vs. Jay Lethal, All-Out Tag Team Champion. Cassidy retained against Jay Lethal. It was a good match. It's perhaps noteworthy. Honestly, how MJF isn't being mentioned. He was in the opening montage, but otherwise, they're talking about key happenings of the pay-per-view other than MJF's classic against Bryan Danielson to retain the title. It seems you want to lead with that. Honestly, yeah, you should lead with that, So after the match, Lethal grabbed his stolen Golden Globe at ringside, was going to use it against Cassidy, but the ref got in his way, ordered him to return the back. Jarrett snuck in behind Cassidy, gave him the stroke. He picked up his guitar, smashed it across Cassidy's injured knee. So Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta ran out for the save, so Jarrett retreated in the stands as fans booed. So yeah, this is interesting, and we led to next week's Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. So this is going to be interesting what will happen. So let's see what we'll do. Let's see what was going to happen there for next week, next Dynamite, you know what I'm saying? Alright, basically they show footage of Wardlow's car window smashed. Excalibur said bag was stolen to include the TNT title belt, which is a little stupid, yeah, speed, but these are deeps. Anyway, they show Renee Paquette interviewed Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs said so unfortunate what happened to him. His life is in shambles. He said all Wardlow has left is being called champion today. He's taking that. That's what's happening. And mostly the main event's gonna be like a false count anywhere. That's for later on in the match during the Dynamite recap. So it's to let you know. Okay, anyway. We go to Excalibur hyping the main event Wardlow vs. Hobbs for the TNT title. Then Starks makes his entrance to street clothes. He says he's been in California for 10-11 days, added to his win over Jericho. He had a hell of a week. He says people asking him what's next. He says he's not sure, so the question that weighs on his mind is what he's going to do next, what he's going to do next. He was erupted by Bullet Club music. Juice Robinson attacked Starks behind, gave him a DT. Scott they thought Juice left Bullet Club in Japan, but apparently not. He said this is incredible. So honestly, why is it incredible? So that's a straight way to characterize a heel jump into babyface. 2 segments in a row, a heel attack babyface behind. I'm not sure setting up Starks, Juice, and Jarrett Cassidy feud is going to slow the erosion of AEW viewership and give them a sense of momentum coming out of Revolution. But that's my opinion, honestly. Yeah, it's what it is. So Siobhan interviewed Wardlow backstage. Wardlow said he's dealt with a lot of loss lately. He would wear an FTR t-shirt, Dana for loaning him some clothes. Said he wants Hobbs in a false count anywhere, and he goes match because he's dressed for occasion. He said he may not physically have the belt, but he's the TNT champion, and no man on earth is going to take that from him. So honestly, I know there are different opinions on this, but Wardlow's new look is so much better now. Saw the promo there too. No Wardlow's world nonsense is a bonus. That to me is a bonus. So Renee Paquette reviewed Ruby Soho, asked her why she joined Toni Storm. Soho said it's obvious and should have come as a surprise to anyone. They said, you all created this monster. She said when Britt Baker beat her, the fans were thrilled. Fans chanted DMD. Solo talked about facing Stanley and Owen Hart tournament. She said after beating Stanley, fans boo her. She said at Revolution when Hater pinned her, she realized no one would come to her aid when she lost. No one in AEW would appreciate her. She ain't hurt. She said AEW didn't respect Storm enough to call her a natural champion, but rather called her an interim. She said that when Saraya arrived, the fans came after her. She had been outcast since they came to AEW, yet they came to AEW to rebuild the women's division. She said you cannot rebuild on a broken foundation. You have to tear down, build, and square. She said that rookies are a bad thing. Deserve world of AEW. The Tony Khan gives it to them. She called out Sky Blue. Blue may have her entrance theme. Be Soho versus Sky Blue. Scalper said that she has selected memory from Soho. Selected memory from Soho. Taz talked about Soho making legitimate points. Siobhan talked about she should get over it. Scalper said some of the women had sold back. She ignored that. Soho controlled the match early. Soho controlled the action during the break. Then we got some scalp hugging. The FTR and Hangman would peak later on the show. Blue made a comeback. Solo and Fish Blue with pair pull and a Destination Unknown finisher. So after the match, Storm Surreal came out with spray paint. Soho started spraying green paint on Blue's chest. Willow Nightingale ran out. She confronted Soho, appeared to be pleading with the chain of might. Soho started attack from her behind. Behind. 3 segments so hard where heels attacked the babyface behind. At least this one came from the opposite direction. Soho promo was solid and her logic while turning not here to fair portrayal facts showed at least a mindset for a decision. So let's go to the interview. Renee interviewed Hangman backstage. He asked how he's been doing. He said physically he's been doing better. He said his heart been somewhere with no light, not because he wanted to, but he had to. He says it's a warning to push him. He'll take you to hell, rip your flesh, our bones, choke you to life, bone, body, I'll rip your right back out. Basically says right back out. Renee asks he's done with Moxley now. Heyman says he's sorry for what she said to see. She wants to blame somebody, don't blame him. He said he's finished now. So yeah, and that's pretty much almost the end. So there's more to this. So okay, Excalibur hyped Warlow versus Hobbs 6-man tag. Avenger Air with Blood E and JM backstage after his win over Sunday. He yelled at the fans, thought Dance went at his level, but he snapped the dragon wing clean off. He said the devil with horns growing off his forehead. He said his back isn't against the wall. It's time to celebrate with his daddy's single in Francisco. He said on March 15th, his birthday is going to stroll on into Winnipeg and celebrate. I'm the most completed wrestler in the world. He said nobody's going to dethrone the devil because the reign of terror has just begun. There's more. Yep, it's going to continue on. Scott said you have to give the devil his due, but he's still the AEW champion. Shavant introduced FTR from mid-ring. They made an entrance. Fans cheered for a while. Cash said they missed that. He said 2022 was a great year for them, but the last few months took a bad turn. He said he lost their Acclaim, they lost their Guns, they lost 3 sets of tag titles in a month. They said they lost one of their best friends in wrestling. AJ chant that Cash said they needed a break and needed to recharge. He said they couldn't stay at home, unconscious. Watch the Guns call themselves the best tag team in pro wrestling. He said they are good, they are the future, but they are spoiled, entitled, disrespectful assholes. Your father gave you everything you asked. Said, and dad couldn't get the job in the best wrestling company in the world. Said he taught him how to fight, be respectful. He'll take the Guns that lesson. So yeah, Dax said he talked about his wife and daughters. He's going to talk about the fans. He loves the industry. Man, support him. Y'all too. His FTR chants broke out. Last member, he has one of his best friends in the industry taken away from him by the Guns. Now he's trying for retribution. It says it's easy for them to beat their ass, but they want to take the AEW tag titles from us for the Briscoes for all of y'all. So honestly, that was a good, straightforward reintroduction. I see that now it's going to be for the Guns versus FTR tag team champions in the future. Let's make that happen. That's our number one priority. Let's make that happen. All right. Renee Raquette interviewed Jade Cargill. Backstage, she asked about being 5-53-0. She feels challenged anymore. Jade says she's blown through everything opponents so far. She's headed to Canada next week, so he's asked for the best challenger Canada has. So yeah, that's a Jade Cargill promo, So yeah. Alright, okay, we got Jericho, Guevara, Garcia with the other to defeat Ty Flight. Then after the match, Parker said the fans had witnessed the single most greatest. Alright. He said the most single greatest trios victory in AEW history. He asked them to light the Blink Beam. That's what San Francisco Kings do when they win games. Men are brag about being a team of sports entertainers. Garcia is the only fair that JS are the number one contenders for the trios titles now. Guevara added their sexist group alive. Jericho said they're deeming themselves as new contenders for the trios champions. He calls the House of Blood, turn off the lights, get their asses out of the ring now. Said Mega, Young Bucks show up the stage and their theme song played. Omega said it's best part of 3 years able to stay out of their business. He like to think comes from mutual respect, but when you talk about Trios champion, they get their attention. Don Callis took the mic from Omega, said the Elite established the Trios champions. It's obviously the Elite remain number one contenders in the match at Revolution. He said he and Jericho have been friends for 33 years. He agrees with what those said. Jericho's among the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. He says he always second best wrestler for Winnipeg. Though Siobhan said he had a point, I think so, and I'm not taking sides here, Collins says. If he had a couple of us to trade, Jericho would have been moved down to number 3. Jericho called him down to the ring. The lights went out. House of Black showed up. The Big Three said they're happy to humiliate either of the teams in their hometown. Then showed on the ramp says, Come get them. Fans chant. House of Black. Siobhan called out creepy. The lights went dark again. So said they can hear something going on. Lights came back. Fleet were wrapped alone. JS was in the ring. But the House of Black were missing. So who will get the title shot next week? Who decides? Scalper said it'll be a 3-way trios titles. Okay, I'll answer that. I think they were going to have Elite versus JS on a Rampage to decide who will get the title shot next week. Which is my sort of reopen the crash rate viewership of Rampage. So I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's something was going on. They went to backstage. Tony Khan said Cassidy wanted to defend next week against Jarrett. He said the All-Atlantic champion is the only time ever changed hands on foreign soil. To next week, the title will remain renamed the AEW International Championship because they're leveling up the championship because it'll be a huge milestone for AEW. He tied into Warner Bros. Release Shazam, but didn't explain why. I don't know. But honestly, that's better. Is it the AEW World Title also international? It sets a bit, but said that's world. Why are making the AEW TV Championship freedom of the title that defend more often than other titles? AEW go further than differentiate. Send only wrestlers that never held a TNT or AEW World Title challenge or either title eligible to fight for. So it takes a future star or rise to spot fight, even if names no title without purpose to differentiate for it. Then we got Vigilant on air and jammed down some matchup aftermath. Danielson said his first instinct where he was at a LeBell lock was a fight, but I realized he couldn't feel his arms. His voice cracked. He said NJ predicted he wouldn't be able to play with his kids after the Iron Man match. He said NJ was right when he was putting ahead of himself and family. He was ashamed of tapping out. It's time to go home. And he stood up and walked away. It was a sad promo. Scalper said Danielson was already emotional in the moment shortly after his match at Revolution. So let's go to the matchup. Claudio Castagnoli Moxley versus Dark Order. Defeated Dark Order. Moxley got Reynolds tap out submissional victory after Moxley applied a hold. Claudio blocked the referee for intervening. Silver ended for the save. Claudio came in with a gut wrench in the air, threw him over the top rope. Moxley clinched on a hold. Evil ran out, beat Moxley. Wheeler used a clip Una behind, held him up for Moxley. Hangman ran out for the save and got in Moxley's face. Fed check Cowboy shit. Hangman punched Claudio, fired back. Uppercut, but Hangman punched Claudio and fired back with uppercut. Locked Yuta, Moxley, Claudio swarm Hangman. Scalper said Hangman would try to put Moxley behind him. F5 referees separate everyone. Fans chatted, let them fight. So we got a commercial aired for AEW All Access show premiering next week. So yeah, it is happening next week. Yeah, next week. Renee interviewed and claimed Milling went backstage. They were interrupted by Bedard Parker. They said JS loved their clay. They love rap music. Parker said they're sports entertainers at heart, so how about Unite Max Caster, Elton Bowens, and Billy Gunn laughed in their faces. They showed the exterior Golden Ones Center with the AW logo and the wrestlers on the marquee. Scalper then hyped up the Rampage lineup. Edge Andrade versus the Guevara. The Acclaim and Natchet, Inosuke Nashi versus Preston Vance and Rio versus Now Rose. Then on Diamond next week, we got Cassidy versus Jarrett. AJ's Bar Mitzvah celebration and the 3-way for the Trios Championship. That was for Diamond. And for this week's Rampage, that was also this week's Rampage. I talked about next week's Dynamite. So yeah, now we got the main event. We need to talk about Warlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs TNT Championship. Warlow dragged Hobbs on the stage, set up a powerbomb. Marshall bashed Warlow behind with a chant. Gave him a low blow, jabbed him in the neck from the chair. The announcers were outraged, then bashed Warlow across the school chair. Warlow fell down. Marshall laughed. Marshall helped Hobbs' feet. They threw Warlow off the stage and crashed back below. Shavaz said they might have broken his back. The ref called it 10. So Hobbs won the TNT Championship on this main event. And Dynamite was a pretty good Dynamite. I can't wait for next week. But anyway, now let's go to the ROH recap. Alright, here's the ROH recap. Let's begin. Okay, we have now Samoa Joe versus Cody Deppen. ROH TV title to start the show. We just saw Samoa Joe lost the TNT title Wardlow on Sunday this week. So honestly, putting the ROH TV title on in an open match made him look like a fighting champion. It worked out good. Deppen was a challenger. As a former TV champion himself, he was looking to regain the belt. Establish shows a new ROH with a big win. While the challenger had a lot of energy, Samoa's submission machine was too much to overcome during the match. He was letting some sip strength, didn't give his opponent an inch of breathing room. This was a well hard fought match in my book. It didn't overstay his welcome. Joe won in 10 minutes with Muscle Buster retained his Television title. He issued a challenge after the bout was over. Mark Briscoe arrived to answer the call. So, yeah, it's going to be Mark Briscoe versus Samoa Joe as honor for the ROH TV title. Alright, now we go to the boys and Dalton Castle versus Mark Cross and C4. So, Mark Cross, Cross team with Graham Rossas and Cody Chun to take on foreign ROH 6-man tag champs Dalton Castle and the boys. Castle was the largest competitor in the match, which means everyone else but small on the side. Notice the fast-paced encounter with both teams, hitting multiple double-triple team spots. After allowing the boys to do a lot of hard work for a few minutes, Castle came in hot, started throwing everyone around like a bunch of ragdolls. He even threw the boys as his opponents. The Peacock scored for the win for his team with a spinning reverse powerbomb on the roster to cap off on a solid match. This wasn't much story, but it gave Trill a good win and built themselves back up the challenge for the 6-man titles. So, Angelico and Spectacle now versus Roosh and Jurassico. Luther accompanies Spectacle and Angelico to the ring for a tag team match in real-life brothers of Roosh and Jurassico. Roosh refused to abide by the code of honor when Angelico sent his hands to review both intentions between both teams. Roosh had an exchange with Angelico, but when it's Spectacle's turn, Roosh embarrassed by notice selling all his chop for being him senseless. Jurassico tagging, so two masked men could show off the high-flying skills. Interesting matchup between each man has a favorite aerial fence and guy like ground approach. Ian Luther himself in the line of fire when Asher spilled out of the ring. The longer this match went, the most personality felt. When it started as a relatively normal tag team match, turned into a physical fight. So the SAP was able to rally up and getting most of the offense, but Roosh Jurassico dominated most of the match for sealing the deal with victory. They tore off Spectacle mask after it was over, pretty much. So yeah. So yeah, they got Roosh and Jurassico won. So it was a tag match. It was a good match. It is. All right, let's get to the show. Let's go back. All right, Trisha Dora versus Billy Starks. Dora Starks were fourth match of the night. For those who are not familiar with Starks, she is 18 years old, considered a prodigy by many. They have observed the code of honor. Starks with somewhat friendly exchange of holds, counters. Starks had a smile on her face a bit, but that didn't last long. Dora began to turn up the heat with attacks that were managed aggressively after the match went on. Starks kept the match competitive, but she was under the entire time. Dora scores the win with a Larry Tubman, but both women hugged it after it was over to show no hard feelings. This is a good performance from both women, but definitely left room to grow. Jake Chris, Mascot versus Sinjay Ari Davari. So Mascot, Jake Chris, team-up take on Trustbusters. Ari Davari, Sinjay Scout would try to read a book as match begins, so Davari was easily able to take the show up. So Chris was again the upper hand with familiar quick moves, but one missed crossbody forcing the Scout back in. Slim J picked the win with SC up less than 5 minutes. This match felt more like filler than anything else. Carver stuff to getting his hit of action made the crowd care. So yeah, we had now Wheeler Utah for Timothy Thatcher for the Pure Championship. So the most British American Pro Wrestling last shot in the ROH Pure Champion this week with Timothy Thatcher challenging Wheeler Utah. Utah was forced to use one of his 3 rope breaks immediately when Thatcher took him down to an armbar. So the Pure title is contested under different rules, so these matches tend to be more technical than an average bout. These two men are incredible, gifted workers. They were able to put on quite a show. Yuta eventually found his groove, meaning Thatcher used 2 of his rope breaks to escape submissions, but he was also one used a close fist to the face. Yuta took a sheep shot and a punch while the referee has back turned. And since the end, after they abide by the rope breaks, after Thatcher uses the chair was able to tie him down the win with a submission. It was easily the match of the night, and it was pretty much, yeah. Aussie Open versus Tracy Williams and Titus. So Williams and Titus take on Mark Davis Fletcher, known as Aussie Open. The match ended up being a textbook tag team bout. Both teams look good. They actually obeyed the rules. Most of the time made it stand out. We see Lon Perez legal partner ringing. We see a ton of cheating. We see referee being made for foolish. Second half of the card had a bit more double team action and worked toward the finish. They still kept the mayhem with reason. At the high-packed match, the male four competitors looked tough. Aussie Open got the win. So here we go. Ben Dinjo versus Eddie Kingston. Ben Dinjo get a televised entrance. It's pretty clear that he was going to have a referee call for the bell. Dinjo made a mistake trying to chop Eddie Kingston. The brawler covered with some rapid-fire chips for hitting back fist for the win. This is the closest thing to squash match we have seen during the first 2 weeks of RH TV. So Kingston called out Claudio Castagnoli and demanded a world title shot, but Champ had no interest in accepting. So yeah, this is going to lead to Supercard on a matchup to Kingston and Claudio. Claudio is basically the heel and Kingston is the babyface. So yeah, that's pretty much the main event. Athena versus Willow Nightingale, ROH Women's Champion. Willow Nightingale and Athena both had an opportunity to cut pros for the main event ROH Champion. They had last 20 minutes of show, so they had plenty of time to feel each other out. For the crash, chase to take down. And Dina bending control pace, dish out some snap strength despite being small and competitor. She was definitely aggressive. This one was a physical match tonight. It crowded a lot of positive reaction. Yuta Thatcher may have been the match of the night, but the technical process of this bout had more theatrics to it. Riddle did an excellent job for selling Father Goddess, man looked dominant, champion. Dina played a highly effective to her shit. This is a main event spot. Like, after weathering the storm for Niagara, Athena was able to retain her title at the show on a high note. Alright, let's go to the Rampage recap. Okay, Andrade versus Sammy Guevara start the show. Guevara and Navarre were ready in the ring. When the show began, Guevara no rush to start the match. He was lounging in the corner, trying to avoid a newcomer to AEW. Andrade was all over him. Guevara tried to escape, leaving the ring, but Andrade gave him no quarter. He stayed on Guevara, no matter how he tried to get away. It was right before the commercial break that Guevara, the Spanish god, hit huge need to take control. These guys are both high flyers. They have plenty of big spots to keep the fans in the area on edge seats. They get a good space around, so each move have a little moment of breath. Both men brought two senior energy to the bout. The crowd fed the energy back at them when they hit a risky move. However, the finish was met with icy silence. Unfortunately, Garcia's interference behind the referee's back, so Guevara hit the GTH for the win. This sort of killed the energy area after it was a pretty fun matchup to the point. Alright, The Acclaim versus Jack Cartwheel and Starboy Charlie. Cartwheel and Starboy Charlie were given a shot to appear on AEW television this week, but unfortunately a chance came against Caster and Bowens. The match only lasted a couple of minutes, saw the Acclaim pick up flawless victory. Rampage only 4 matches every week, is one of them is always a squash. Daddy Magic and Darko Park made the Acclaim offer to join JSS. They declined. And yeah, it's basically the segment onto that. So yeah, Konosuke Takashi versus Preston Vance. Vance was accompanied by the ring by Jose, assisted for his match against a man who has been sucked in a role lately, Satoshi. The Japanese wrestler was given a size of Vance, so this was a matchup with two guys who showed power rushing over the ring. The woman in Dark Order upper hand for several minutes. Takashi was able to make a comeback shortly after being returned from break. Jose made a say again of also Takashi wiped him off huge forearm. He fought through Vance's offense, was able to win with a backslide. This was a solid show of both men. Joe's interference had no impact on the outcome, but it was also a big deal. It was the first bout. So yeah. Then we got Nyla Rose, Riho main event. The main event tonight was a third encounter between Riho and Rose, who had been in AEW since the beginning and were the first two women's champions. So this is a long-standing rivalry. They only have a few chapters so far. AEW played a nice video package to recap the history before the match began. Riho showed some aggression by going right after Rose, but she kept getting pushed to the mat by a larger opponent. The native beast used her power to control her opponent, but Riho quick and fast allowed her to stay one step ahead most of the time. Should fear enter get involved or Rose has referee distracted, it means every match on the show has some kind of interference set to squash the claim. Rio is one of the most natural underdogs AEW has had. She played a role very well in the bout. Rose played the heel, which is very little weird considering she was definitely a babyface during the last feud with Jade Cargill. But she is more natural in that role anyway. After failing to Rose a few times, Rio hit a normalized suplex that her Q2 count. A few minutes later, she was able to keep Rose down for a 3 count. Rose cemented herself as a heel again by attacking Rio after the match was over. So Rhea, we saw Tony Stark had the red green L on Rio to end the show. So, yeah, basically on the show that. Oh, plus, there was Mark Briscoe made an announcement. So, regarding the future of the ROH tag belts, he said there will be a lot of matches to be held at Jay Briscoe's honor, the crown new champions. That will be a supercard of honor. The first one's going to be Lucha Brothers. For the rest, we don't know. I see it's a 4-way tag ladder match or a 5-way, 6-way, or 6-pack. I'm seeing a 4-way tag match for the AEW, for the ROH Tag Team Champions at Supercard of Honor. Reach for the Sky ladder match. You know what I'm saying? Alright, more to this. The pre-match video replaced the usual interview. Mark Henry still got to say his line. That's a good start. And, then apparently there's more to this. Vicky Guerrero is no longer AEW, so Maria Sheffield was only one on Rose this week. So we don't know what's going on. Yeah, Vicky Guerrero is leaving this company, so yeah, it's a given. I don't know. Yeah, it's given. She's leaving, and way is how it's done, and it's her. Alright, let's go to the wrestling news. So got all the recaps done. Let's go to the wrestling news. Okay. Tony Khan condemns MJF's actions during AEW Revolution. It's not to be taken lightly. So Tony Khan does not approve of MJF's behavior at Revolution. So added to the long list of controversial actions by the world champ, the Polish star was buzzed at internet match during his match in Bryan last Sunday. Tony Khan addressed the MJF's acceptable behavior. So it basically says the following: a unique magician general challenge music being played by his classical assembly. The champ will go on to tag as a crowd for a 60-minute Iron Man match. Targeting a young fan during the match, the world champ grabbed the drink and proceeded to tip it over the head of a child. President TK, who has been a well-documented issue in MJF in the past 12 months, commented on the incident at the start of the pro-show press conference. Khan stated in a discussion regarding what happened and events being taken seriously, but we came here, we had serious conversation and made that not to be taken lightly. The young man Titus was real pro about it. We'll see Titus again in AEW. I believe Titus is actually coming to Sacramento. I was with him. He was a real champ about it. The champ didn't act like a champ there. I think Titus was great. So the animosity between Khan and MJ began in spring of 2022 with Drexel Tower reporting on Harper's contract. The fallout resulted in the world champ, future world champ, no-show meeting, greet, double nothing, participating in the event, something a mystery. So MJF would appear in an open match at pay-per-view, but was squashed by former ally Wardlow. The following episode of Dynamite, the unhappy AEW star would launch a follow-mount tirade that directed by Tony Khan resulted in led the episodes of TV until the all-out pay-per-view in September. So the holder of the Triple B title made it clear that he has no loyalty alliance to AEW, will 7 off for the highest bidder. MJF frequently teased the business WWE, acknowledging his contract's up at the end of the year. Thus shade the bidding war 2024 to see who will sign the world champ for the highest price. So yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. Well, what it is how it is. Is how, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. AJ is a prick, and we could agree on that. He's a giant prick. That's what we can agree upon. Yeah, he's a prick. Okay, moving on. Reportedly, FTR signed new contracts. FTR did not. New update on their contracts last Sunday's Revolution. AEW's Revolution, FTR returned tag match title with the Guns winning. After the match, the Guns were cutting the promo in the ring, and he was calling the best talent in the world. And that's where FTR's music hit to a huge pop from the crowd. FTR did well. The Guns got the better of them, stood in the ring with tag belts in hand. For Revolution, FTR has been off a number of months. The tweet podcast quotes from the Dax Harvard, leading people speculate about Jerry Corey's report. Insider belief that FTR is signing long-term contracts to AEW. So, your belief was that FTR long-term deals at AEW at this appearance teaser, also or like cover. So yeah. Alright, the belief again, FTR long-term deal with AEW, and that disappearance tease of going elsewhere with recovery cover This occurs I confer to sign new deals. May have been believed case means Mr. Census when the ATL deals were due to wrap soon. But then turning to Revolution scene on the world title feud that may expect them to win suggests they're going to be around for a while. So yeah. So yeah. It's it is what it is. Yeah. It's what it is. Oh yeah, Vince McMahon reportedly backstage at this week's Raw last night with Raw Monday Night Raw last night. This week on Raw and the night when Vince McMahon was backstage for the first time since come out of retirement. So here's the thing: it was reported by Dave Meltzer on Twitter that Vince McMahon was at Raw this week in Boston. Unknown, he was acting doing there all night or anything about it. Really, there was there. So later on, it's reported that Vince was just visiting Cena. It was the last show in Boston. Now, according to Dave Meltzer, that was not the case. Meltzer reported Vince was in fact in a good position backstage all night, though he wasn't giving orders from employees. He was a gorilla all night. What did that tell you? He wasn't barking orders of people or anything like that, but he was a gorilla all night. I was told that he was only there to visit John Cena. That's a slur. There's more to it than that. While talking about why Vince may have been a Raw last night, Meltzer revealed that he's doing more ways than been let on. He's doing more than let on, but that the people in control was listening this night. He was there in charge doing stuff. Visiting John Cena and fired to a few people. Then that didn't happen here, so the trip was a little bit in the middle, likely. So Vince McMahon returned to be represented backstage at the show and watched the just as many people on the way back. Who WWE creator had this reported yet. Updated story visiting coming back more involved. WWE continues. So yeah. We know Vince is might come back, so yeah. Alright, next story. Ronda Rousey continued to deal with injury, may not be 100% for WrestleMania. For WWE Women's World Champion Ronda Rousey continued an injury road to this year's WrestleMania. This week's episode of Monday Raw, however, saw a 6-man tag. Couple hours at Bayley, Dakota Kai, Sky versus Glitch, Legends, Trish, and Lita. Special features showcasing Motors of Hollywood. Being on a relevant case of Wrestler Radio, Dave Meltzer mentioned they're still playing a place for a team of Baszler Rousey when it comes to tag champions. However, the opponent said he had to be determined. They still have a tag timers. There are going to be 2 matches coming out per where our chance will wrestle Rousey and Baszler. We'll do 6 with the tag. Mentioned that since WWE announced tag match when night would take place. Odds that take place the second night are much higher. However, the course Scott are going to win belts back. It will be the leader Becky Lynch, but Rousey Baszler still getting tag title shot. Plan to lightly win them. Unless Rise is injured as a heel, which are right now, she's not going to be 100% heel, but Precious she will be ready to do their match. So, yeah, it was actually leader Becky Lynch who won the titles, so it's what it is. So, we don't know. So then, alright, next news. Jericho says that he and Danielson and Moxley took charge in the locker room. Jericho has spoken dynamic in the locker room. In the middle of 2022, it appears some unrest in the locker room, such as Adito keeps the Sangro themselves bold and behind sees drama about big case of Mulligan when Punk delivered his infamous rant all out. This then stabilized the locker room atmosphere has been crucial to the AEW's on-screen image. Reports that credit Jericho, Danielson, and Moxley as key figures to calm the situation. Now featured on Randy Paquette's Sessions podcast, Jericho discussed what times take on leader role during behind the publicity and uncertainty for the company. So the backstage, there's a lot of advice, a lot of listening about trying to listen. I got a problem with this, I got a problem with that. There's a lot of working close to Con. Locker room leading, especially over the last 6 months when the Con had to take the reins back with a lot of bad publicity. A lot of concern in the dressing room. As a matter of fact, you meant in the mindset behind that. So kind of take a charge. We're going to the dressing room. That's when you're going to fuck. So they started going on. Everything I like a real general. Telling how probably around had meant hint. I think one of the kind I was helping our locker room. I had problem. And see, just said help as much as I can. So yeah. AEW hot streak late with last Revolution. They were praised on that house show. Hustled by picked up company trios titles with Jericho, so covered alongside just members Sammy Guevara and Garcia. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, and yeah, it's pretty much what's gonna happen. Jericho's gonna be taking control of the locker room. He's gonna help out the locker room and stuff. Brad K. reportedly interested in free agency, letting AEW contract run out, but WWE believed to be interested. However, Fife selected Brian K. contract set to Spider-Man. Weez, however, says in an updated story where Fife reported that AEW's hoped that at time to his injury, says the deal due to the injury move that kept him in the company until June. Despite this, Cage is to believe that pushback coming time to do so has been an interesting free agency. The Fife select provided interest of their prior Cage looking to enter the free agent market as well as give him insight how long he has left with AEW. So the Fife selector told WWE has maintained interest in Cage should eventually become a free agent and opening to have a conversation with the ROH six-man tag champ. The pair will have to delay. AEW and Cage agreed to work to end of March since the ROH Supercard of Honor pay-per-view. So it turns the time he was looking at Cage's contract. For no that injury time he humbly packed being appeared. Look at the cover. So Lowe's Coast, the Cage was offered a contract statute. Current deal AEW's option has been rolled out. The spirit of the deal was set to expire between mid-February, thus some time and rate added. So yeah, pretty much. So yeah. As another report stated, Cage just has some heady hitters in the corner with AEW late. One of them being Ken Stroh, who started hopes Cage tried to remain with the company. So the Great Muta to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Famer. Let's talk about Great Muta. Okay, earlier this year, WWE Mark Perry for the pre-W Pro Wrestling Noah took on the Great Muta, Japanese legend, on the retirement tour time. Since then, Kenji Muta wrestled his final match on the Alter Ego alongside Darby Allin's Sting, take on Hakushi Akira, Minoru Fuji for later retirement altogether. It's Tetsu Naito and Takale Masahiro Chono. Because of the new report for PCWinsider.com, Great Muta is expected to be inducted to the 2023 class of WWE Hall of Fame, despite never competing for the promotion. WrestleWorld's previously reported Nakamura's no appearance was a trade-off for Muta's induction. With a further report earlier today that indicated the official announcements are imminent. The plans on Monday have been announced this year's Hall of Fame induction classes and annual Hall of Fame stars are 3 weeks today from Los Angeles from SmackDown. While Muta's never set foot inside the WWE ring, he was often highlighted on WWE television thanks to the company's relationship with New Japan at the time. Muta is one of those 5 wrestlers who have held the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, known as GWGCH Heavyweight Champion, and AJ All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight Champion. So yeah, Muta's getting inducted. It's what it is. It's what it is. It's happening. So yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much what's gonna happen. So yeah, Great Muta is coming to the going to Hall of Fame induction. So yeah. So Taya Valkyrie set to finish up with Impact, soon likely going to AEW or WWE. Valkyrie former known as Mikey Monet, WWE currently finds that champion 3 holding Triple H rated the Women's Champion, MLW World Women's Featherweight Champion, being one of her current PAX champions alongside Morel on the FIBA rule. So Dave Meltzer has another right up with Valkyrie featured likely live, but she's for Impact and soon AEW options where she'll land next. So yeah. Valkyrie Fisher Impact, she works companies where she holds the title. She's not committed here, and for a long time here, she's likely going to the WWE, which we're supposed to be clear with a short period of time. Valkyrie known as Megan Monet spent that majority. Sorry. NXT banner she released later that year, main roster. So yeah. Interesting, Kate Cargill set to put her TBS chair at the Dynamite against someone from Canada, although no reports came Valkyrie is playing for the spot. So yeah, it's what it is. Valkyrie might go to WWE, go back to WWE or AEW. If she does go either, I want her to be used properly. Be involved, be used properly. You know what I'm saying? Use her properly. You know, like use her properly for once. Like treat her as something big deal, you know. And all right, there's some hot takes. I got something to say. Hot take. Like I feel Taya fits better with AEW than with WWE. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not sorry, but Valkyrie's more fit with AEW WWE is not a good place for her. Let's see. Jade Cargill should be in the Outsiders versus the Originals. That's what that's the truth. So yeah. And one more thing. I still believe Vince McMahon will still be back in creative control, and Hunter will be pushed out. That is most likely happening. Yeah, I could see it. Everyone don't see it, but I could see it. I know Vince for a long time. He most likely do it. Yeah. So this is the AgostoAllElite Podcast. I'll see y'all next Saturday. Usual. Bye. See you later.